Okay, so now this video is about the $15 minimum wage. And Bernie Sanders is saying that he would raise the wage to $15 across the board, not allowing states to have a say or anything else. Everyone wants to support a better standard of living for our workers. No question about it. And Hillary supports raising it to $12 and allowing states to have some say if they can do more. But let's just take another reality break and just see what happens, because everyone would love to help guys that are struggling, for sure. And America is struggling. A lot of our working poor definitely need and deserve a raise. But again, it's not about the intention, it's about the implementation of policy. If you hike the minimum wage to $15, say over the next 12 months or the next 24 months, what would that do? What does that look like? So just take a moment and think about that. 60% of job creation in America comes from small business. It's not some big bank or some big corporation or some huge business, okay? There's small businesses out there, and not all of them, many of them, are just getting by, and they're struggling. And for many of them, labor is their highest cost, highest variable cost. And so if you just double, well, $7.25 to $15, if you more than double the highest variable cost, is that going to help everyone? Or is that just going to create unemployment? I certainly think that we need to move forward. I even think Hillary's proposals are very aggressive here. $12, not because I don't want to help the worker, but because I'm trying to prevent the worker from losing his job and tipping our economy into a recession. So she wants to go to $12. Frankly, if we went to $8 or $9, $10, that probably be significant. It would be a significant disruption for the employer, but it's workable. Going to $15 without considering the ability of each individual state or an input from the states is irresponsible. And I know the youth in America is just saying, let's help those guys out, but they have to look at the math behind this and the process of business. It's exactly the wrong policy. You know, the key for our workers is that we train them and prepare them to move up the food chain in globalization, not just pretending there's no globalization and just doubling their wages and thinking that that's not going to cost many, many jobs in America. It will. And I don't want to just prove people wrong by letting that happen, because millions of people are going to suffer and the entire economy will suffer. So once again, the intention is good, but the policy is catastrophic. You know, a lot of Democrats make fun of Republicans because they say they don't believe in global warming. Well, if I think Republicans have a legitimate reason to laugh at Democrats that don't believe in globalization. We're competing around the world now with things, and even small businesses are doing this. And to say that's not happening is crazy. Even China, who has moved up significantly in the economic ladder, is outsourcing jobs to Vietnam. The key for our workers is exactly what Hillary Clinton is talking about, and Bernie Sanders in this case, which is to train our workers and prepare them to transition. The administration should do more to help people in the coal industry transition into smart jobs, and I think there's some efforts that are going towards that, to solar panels and wind turbines and retraining. We need to move up the food chain, because we're not going to win globalization by making a bunch of toasters and things that we are just not going to be able to compete against cheaper labor places. So just to double people's wages and pretend that somehow, without increasing their productivity, without increasing their contribution, that's not going to make business more inefficient and less competitive and put a lot of companies out of business is a pipe dream. Just do the math. Go to a series of small businesses and ask them what's their biggest labor cost. I have a small business, and we don't have a problem with the minimum wage. No one here is getting paid minimum wage. But a lot of people are struggling, and a lot of businesses are struggling. And it's in that sense I can relate to them. Most employers, believe it or not, are actually trying to do the best they can by their workers. And they need to do more. And we do need to raise their minimum wage. But going to $15, that's an irresponsible promise that will not be kept. And if it is kept, it's going to cause a recession. I mean, there's no mathematical way not to create unemployment from this policy. Across the board, at every state, can afford it or not. Some states are already in a tough situation. This isn't really going to fix anything. It's a great campaign promise. But I think moderates need to step up and say, yes, we want to help the working poor, and we must help the working poor. But we can't do it with a false promise that's going to cost them more pain.